We often think of 1918 as the year the Great War ended, a time of celebration and relief. But shadowing the armistice was a far deadlier enemy, one that didn't use guns or trenches. It was a silent, invisible killer that claimed more lives than the entire 4 years of combat. This is the story of the 1918 influenza pandemic, often called the Spanish flu, the forgotten battle that reshaped the world. Why was it called the Spanish flu? It's a bit of a misnomer. Spain was one of the few neutral countries in World War I, so its press wasn't subject to wartime censorship. While countries like Britain, France, and the United States were downplaying the severity of the illness to maintain morale, Spanish newspapers were reporting on it freely, even mentioning that their own King Alfonso XIII had fallen ill. This created the false impression that the flu originated in Spain, but its true origin is still debated by historians today. Some theories point to a military camp in Kansas, others to France, or even China. Regardless of where it started, one thing was certain: it was spreading, and it was spreading fast. The world in 1918 was the perfect breeding ground for a pandemic. Massive troop movements across continents, crowded barracks, and ships packed with soldiers created ideal conditions for the virus to mutate and spread like wildfire. When the war ended, returning soldiers brought the virus home with them, triggering a second, far more lethal wave. Unlike typical flu viruses that are most dangerous to the very young and the very old, the 1918 flu was unusually deadly for healthy adults between the ages of 20 and 40. This was its most terrifying feature. It could strike someone down in a matter of days, sometimes even hours. A person could feel fine in the morning, develop symptoms by noon, and be gone by nightfall. The symptoms were brutal: high fever, body aches, and a pneumonia that filled the lungs with fluid, causing patients to turn blue from lack of oxygen and essentially drown. It was a horrifying sight that doctors and nurses, already overwhelmed by war casualties, were completely unprepared for. Hospitals were swamped. They ran out of beds, doctors, and even coffins. Public spaces like schools, churches, and town halls were hastily converted into makeshift hospitals. Medical students were pulled out of class to treat patients, and retired doctors were called back into service. But there was no cure, no vaccine, and no antibiotics to treat the secondary bacterial pneumonias that were often the actual cause of death. All they could offer was basic care, rest, fluids, and hope. Daily life came to a grinding halt. Cities across the world implemented public health measures that feel eerily familiar to us today. Theaters, dance halls, and saloons were closed. Public gatherings were banned. Many cities passed ordinances requiring everyone to wear face masks in public. Spit no spat signs became common, as spitting was believed to spread the disease. Some streetcar conductors wouldn't even let passengers on board without a mask. These gauze masks became a symbol of the era, though their effectiveness was questionable. The social fabric began to fray under the strain. Fear and suspicion were rampant. People avoided their neighbors, and the sound of a cough could clear a room. With so many adults sick or dying, the workforce was decimated. Essential services like trash collection, mail delivery, and telephone operation broke down. In some places, there weren't enough healthy people left to dig graves, and bodies piled up in morgues and even in homes. Children were orphaned in staggering numbers, left to fend for themselves or taken in by overburdened relatives and orphanages. The world felt like it was on the verge of collapse. The pandemic came in 3 main waves. The first, in the spring of 1918, was relatively mild, but the second wave, which hit in the fall of that same year, was the deadliest. A third wave followed in the spring of 1919, which was less severe than the second, but still deadly. By the time it finally subsided, it is estimated that the Spanish flu had infected about a third of the world's population, around 500 million people, and killed anywhere from 50 to 100 million. To put that in perspective, World War I killed about 20 million people. The single pandemic killed more people in 2 years than the Black Death killed in a century. So why do we call it the forgotten pandemic? For decades, the Spanish flu was largely a footnote in history books, overshadowed by the drama of World War I and its aftermath. The generation that lived through it rarely spoke of it. Perhaps the trauma was too great, too personal. Unlike a war, there were no heroes, no villains, no glorious victories to celebrate. It was just a quiet, pervasive, and indiscriminate suffering that happened in homes and hospitals, not on a battlefield. People wanted to forget, to move on and rebuild their lives. But the flu's legacy endured, even if it was unspoken. It led to major changes in public health. Many countries established centralized ministries of health to better coordinate responses to future epidemics. It spurred research into virology and epidemiology, laying the groundwork for our modern understanding of infectious diseases. It even impacted life expectancy, causing the average global lifespan to drop by as much as 12 years in 1918. Studying the 1918 pandemic is not just about looking at the past. It is a stark reminder of our vulnerability to infectious diseases and the profound impact they can have on society. It teaches us about the importance of global cooperation, scientific research, and clear communication during a health crisis. It shows us the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable loss, and the quiet heroism of everyday people: the nurses, the doctors, the gravediggers, the neighbors who looked after one another. The forgotten battle of 1918 serves as a powerful and humbling lesson. While we may have forgotten it for a time, its echoes can still be heard today, urging us to remember, to learn, and to be better prepared for the future. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. See you in the next one.